that down, let's move on to this, shall we? As of right now, this moment, the number one box office film of the year and the second highest grossing animated film of all time, Inside Out. It's made over $1.5 billion. And it couldn't happen to a nicer movie. I adored this film. I cherished it. I've seen it multiple times in theaters. Absolutely love it. Now, one of the things that I said coming out of it was, this was clearly it. They're not going to do any more. They're not going to do any more Inside Outs. Even when the movie hit like $900 million, I said, doesn't matter. This is it. And then the film hit $1 billion. And I said, you know what? I still think I think they're going to move on from this now. They had a great sequel. They're going to move on. Well, that was $500 million ago. And as somebody brought up on the show, one of our viewers said, John, I think at $1.5 billion, even if they weren't planning on doing it. I'm like, you might be right. Well, you know who's saying they might be right? Disney CEO Bob Iger, who just did an interview on Good Morning America talking about D23. And the interviewer asked Bob Iger, she said, my daughter really wants to see Inside Out 3. Can you tell us we're going to get an Inside Out 3 announced this weekend? To which Bob Iger smiled and said, well, I don't want to spoil any surprises. I'll just say, I would also really like to see an Inside Out 3 get made. And we'll leave it at that. Gosh. I wonder if Bob Iger's got any connections to make this happen. I wonder if the CEO of Disney saying, I really want something done. Look, I'm just going to call it right now. Bob Iger just confirmed we're getting an Inside Out 3. Right? Like when he says, well, I don't want to spoil any surprises, but I myself would also very much like to see Inside Out 3. That means the commandments have come down from Mount Sinai.
Well, he's going to pull some strings, call in some favors.
Yeah, call in some favors. Maybe if I see he can get some things going.
Historically, he's been allergic to money, so.
Yes, he just hates making money.
Hates money.
I mean,
hates yachts.
Now, I don't know what the truth here is. Like, I don't know if I was right before or wrong before when I said I think the plan for Inside Out was they were going to do this one and then that was it. And that the money, much like Joker, changed everybody's mind because Joker was never going to have a sequel until it made over $1 billion and won all sorts of Academy Awards. That changed things. And I think this did here too. And you know what? When you looked at Inside Out 2 and you see how they evolved as Riley is getting a little bit older, I think you'd have to have your head stuck in the sand not to recognize that there's a lot more ground they can cover as Riley gets even older. Maybe she's getting ready to graduate high school. Maybe she's getting ready to start college. One of the beautiful things about Inside Out 1 and 2 is its ability to relate with us as audience members about, I remember when I was a kid and it was that hard. Or I remember when I was getting up in the grades in the school and that was hard. There's nothing they can't do that won't find a home base of relatability with us as audience members. Whether it's her starting college or wrapping up her high school life or starting dating or whatever, there's still so much more ground to cover. Listen, when your second movie makes way more than your first movie, that's the trajectory. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer they're going to do it. Chris, am I wrong in my interpretation that Bob Iger just basically confirmed Inside Out 3? And is it the right thing to do, or should they be exploring other things?
Yeah, he's absolutely going to make another one of these movies, and they absolutely should. I mean, it is a money maker. It is a fabulous film. Jonathan, you were the first one, I think, who was like, no, I think it's better than the first one. And on my second viewing, I had to agree because it is so in-depth and nuanced, and every adult I've seen come out of this movie is just shaken by it. My best friend finally went and saw it yesterday, and she was like, how dare you have not prepared me for this? It's like, I did prepare you. I told you that as somebody with anxiety, this is going to really mess you up. And it sure did. I love that people are able to have these conversations about anxiety because of this film, and then it's not vilified and it's just treated as a superpower that sometimes needs to be reeled in. This is a smart film to make. And it also goes back to show you that all of those decisions to not release Pixar films in theaters was absolutely stupid.
So
It
stupid.
was so dumb.
Although I think Luca, after watching that, because I caught up on Turning Red, Luca and Soul.
Yeah.
I think Luca could have been direct. Like,
That's fair. I love Luca.
but Soul
my
was my
family's
favorite.
Italian, so I
That
also
should
was
have
like,
absolutely been in theaters.
Soul was beautiful. It should have been in theaters 100%. I just did a podcast episode about that. I love those movies. And I think that Bob Iger, for the issues that I have with him, he is a smart businessman. And he knows that these are great properties that should be released in theaters. It'd be ridiculous to not pursue anything with this movie.
You know, you brought up that thing about how this is the brilliance of Pixar films. They're not kid films. They're kid friendly.
Yeah.
The kids are coming out loving it, but the adults are. And you brought up the anxiety thing. That scene in Inside Out 2 where anxiety is starting to lose it at the end might go down as one of my 10 most powerful scenes of the decade. Like I've never seen a visual representation of anxiety for me quite so on the nose. About like when she's moving in a tornado, but also in that one spot, can't see anything but what's in front of her, and then tears starting to come out of her eye. Like I'm like, this is painting a picture about how I feel sometimes. And you're right. It's the adults. The kids are coming out. Oh, it's so great. But it's the adults coming out. It's just such a moving movie.
It really resonates with people. And, you know, my big thing going into this was I was worried because Big Mouth has handled these things really
right.
well.
I remember you saying that.
And Big Mouth did, to an extent, vilify anxiety. And that's not what you should do with the various ways that people's brains work. Some people experience anxiety in very small doses. Some people experience it in a very detrimental way where it kind of inhibits them from being able to move forward. And this does such a great job of walking that line of, hey, this little guy is actually here to protect your brain, and that's all it wants to do. But sometimes we need to let something else lead with that. And I think that's why so many adults really are also resonating with it, because it is that moment of, oh yeah, that's how this feels inside my brain.
Well, I think it's pretty clear we're going to be getting an Inside Out 3 announcement in the next 72 hours at some point. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode, Manscaped. Sizzle alert, this summer, let the only thing that's smoking at your barbecue be the grill, not your grooming game. Get ready for the ultimate cookout season with Manscaped. Whether you're flipping burgers or cannonballing into the pool, make sure your meat looks neat with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Head to manscaped.com and use the code CAMPEA for 20% off and free shipping. Now, come on, guys, if you're like me, you used to do your grooming the old barbaric way. You know, using the clippers on your electric shaver? It never did a good job and always left me screaming out several profanities. So like me, you know that you need the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is perfect for achieving that crisp, clean, and confident look for your barbecues and beach days. The Weed Whacker 2.0, guys, keep your ears and nose as tidy as your hedges next door with our Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. And you get Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion, Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, and Boxers 2.0, the ultimate supplement to those hot summer days, equipped with the signature jewel pouch to protect your meatballs wherever the heat takes you. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code CAMPEA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use that code CAMPEA. Manscaped, the perfect way to get your patties sizzling hot this summer. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It sounds like, to us at any rate, that Bob Iger just basically confirmed we're going to get an Inside Out 3. Was that a no-duh? Does it surprise you? Do you think it's the right decision for them to do? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.